When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. Join us as we learn the cure for fine country hams, visit the creators of the incredible Local Table magazine, walk the woods for Christmas decor, and see how local hunters benefit hungry families. Plus, DJ Gator Harrison cooks up a savory risotto with Chef Andy Hunter, and we visit the Gadget Lab, the Medicine Garden, and the Franklin Farmers Market for good news that's all green. It's Live Green Tennessee coming up next.
This program is brought to you in part by
wherever you are in your life, wherever you are in Tennessee, there's a real Christmas memory waiting for you. Find a Tennessee Christmas tree farm near you at picktnproducts.org.
and by the generous support of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Connecting the grower to the buyer, the country to the city, and smart shopping with a healthy lifestyle. It's Live Green Tennessee.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to be your host for Live Green Tennessee, a tour of Tennesseans who are seeking, offering, and reaping the benefits of thinking, eating, and living green. Tennessee has always offered healthful choices for the table. For generations, most people grew their own. But in recent years, knowing exactly where to locate all that healthful bounty became less obvious. Lisa Shively, a successful Nashville publicist, saw this less as a personal challenge than as a community opportunity. Now with husband Dale Cox, longtime friend and designer Bob Delavantes, and other friends and colleagues met through the music business, she designs and distributes an amazing seasonal tabloid known as The Local Table, a truly helpful and definitive guide to all of Middle Tennessee's farm, foods, and agricultural goodness.
My background is as a publicist in the music business, but I've always been, I've just loved farms and the idea of keeping the farmland together. And my family's farm, kind of the homestead, is an old farm, and it's just got a lot of warm memories, and I just think it's something very American to have those farms, and I just hate seeing the land broken up. So I've been trying to think of a way to help support those farmers.
When Lisa approached me about the magazine, she described the whole, what her mission was, and she wanted to let people know about the farmers and get them connected.
That's what my job's always been as a publicist, is to make the connection between the consumer and the music that I love. And so this was just inserting music that I love with the farms that I love, so.
To be brought on at that phase and level of it is a blast. I mean, I got to help name the project. I mean, we had lists of names, and I got to do the logo and format it and things, and that's a rare opportunity to get. So I was excited to do it.
I wanted people to understand what a hard job it is, and how amazing these people are and what they do, and how dedicated, and some of them have done it for 4 or 5 generations, and some of them they've retired and this is their second livelihood. So it's just all these really interesting people doing fascinating things, but if you just have a listing, you don't really get that sense of the people behind it. So I wanted to combine the listing with a magazine format and the editorial. And we've ended up not just doing it with the farm, but doing it with the people that buy their food, that sell it to the public, the restaurant people, the artisan food producers. Now they're trying to get it into schools. I mean, there's just all these different places where does the food go to, and how is it being used?
Yeah, the magazine does have a lot of information, and that is, in fact, one of the big challenges in making that interesting looking, so people want to find that stuff out. I like to make it a little editorial. We did, I guess it was the spring issue, was about raising young farmers. So I did a little takeoff on the American Gothic. But, just take it to another level, and hopefully someone walking by will see it and want to pick it up.
Sometimes hung up the phone and it's brought me to tears because of these calls I've gotten from people where they've picked up this magazine and they'll call and say it's changed their life in terms of how to eat, how they've wanted to know where these farmers were and they couldn't find them, or they've moved to town and they didn't know what was going on, and that it's just made people feel more connected, I think, with the people around them, with their neighbors.
I have people tell me all the time that they really like it. They really like the list, you know, where they can find stuff. As friends say, oh, I took my daughter, we went and picked strawberries, and oh, that's great, we want to go to a pumpkin patch.
You know, you think produce, people growing vegetables, maybe some fruit, but there's just this whole array. There's all kinds of meats, there's dairy, there's cheese. It's amazing. There's crafts coming off the farms. Just try it, you know, there's bird houses and birdhouse gourd. There's a whole world of fiber and textiles of people that raise sheep and llamas, and they spin, and so there's all this spinning world that I had no idea that was there. And it's just, these people are artisans, and there's just all these things that you don't even think about. It's really fascinating, and I think people will be connected with that as more, I think as our world's gotten so complicated outside, it's much easier to handle to become local and find out what's going on in your own backyard. It's not only an economic choice, but it's a better community choice. It makes you feel more connected to your neighbors.
It brings this regionality to everything, right down to, you know, a dish or a flavor of things. I think we lose a lot of that when, you know, you're buying all this produce from this state or that country and it's all coming in. You know, there was a regionality to dishes, and I think that's a really cool thing. You know, you come to that place to get that, and now people are starting to do that again. So I think that's a good thing.
It was just such a leap of faith. So, and I think at this point it feels kind of poised, because now we've got back issues, we've got, you know, we've got a track record, and people love it. So it's much easier right now to talk to people about it. I don't have to explain it from word one, what it is and what I want to do with it.
So yeah, we get reactions all the time, and I think it's a great time for it. People are really interested in it, and it's just a matter of letting them know that it's really, all that stuff is available.
For the upcoming year, if we can stay to seasonal and just expand our reach and the size of the magazine, so we can cover more things. There's a million stories. We're not going to run out of stories.
Sometimes you get projects you don't always connect with, and this is one I did. And again, I keep saying, I think it's an important thing to let people know about, and it's fun to work on. You know, I have 3 kids now, so you get concerned about, you know, what you're putting in them and what they're doing, and this is a good thing.
So there's a lot of love in Local Table. And that's the big thing I wanted to say.
Remember, Local Table is a great resource. It's free and found all around Middle Tennessee. Viewers in West Tennessee should check out Edible Memphis for local growers and artisan foods. East Tennesseans can find local farm and market listings online at tastebudsguide.org. We'll put links to all of these fine resources for you on our website at wcte.org/livegreen. Though many of Tennessee's outdoor farmers markets close during the cold winter months, a few are open year-round. There are plenty of independent farms, dairies, and artisans standing ready to help you with your holiday shopping. Recently, Live Green Tennessee dropped in on the year-round Franklin Farmers Market in Williamson County.
Hello, my name is Amy Delvin. I'm with Delvin Farms. We're a family-owned, operated business. We've been farming since 1972, and we are a certified organic farm in College Grove, right outside Franklin, Tennessee. We have 86 varieties of vegetables on our farm. We're 94 acres.
My name is Don Casto. Our business is Maria's To Go at Irby's Place in Centerville, Tennessee. We've developed the lines of cheese spreads, salad dressings, and our hot dipping sauce, cooking dipping sauce that we've named Sweet Revenge. It's a honey-based sauce with a generous cayenne kick afterburner.
I'm Jenny Drake, and I'm here at the Franklin Farmers Market with Peaceful Pastures. Peaceful Pastures, we are located in Smith County, which is an hour east of Nashville. We produce grass-fed, all-natural meats.
I'm Jim Day with Timber Top Farm. I'm from Ashland City, Tennessee. I primarily grow shiitake mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, and hydroponic lettuce.
My name is Linda Morse, and my business is Alchemy of Soul Soap Emporium Energy Works, and we're located in Smyrna, Tennessee.
We bring a variety of cuts to the markets as well as eggs. In addition to our meats, we have fleeces off of our sheep, and we have hand-spun artisan yarns made from the fleeces of our sheep.
This is one of the items I grow that people like to walk by and touch. It's from the loofah gourd, and it's used as a sponge and a body scrubber.
Besides our vegetables, we also have our community-supported agriculture, where members can join our community-supported agriculture and pick up a half-bushel box of produce every week.
All my ingredients are natural, biodegradable, and vegetarian. This bar, for instance, is a buttermilk honey almond. It contains Hatcher Dairy buttermilk and honey from Ed Johnson's Honey Farm.
Market is getting off the farm and having a social life and getting to actually put a face with our customers instead of it just being a name that we ship to. Actually getting to meet the people and watching their children grow up is a lot of fun.
The friends that we make are loyal customers who visit us every week, and it's just a great social activity to get out every week and see everybody buying vegetables.
Actually, my favorite thing about being at the farmers market is watching the people. It's a great place to people watch, and also the dogs that come by to visit.
First of all, we're a community. I know where my food is coming from, and I love bartering soap for food, so it's a great way to go.
We have every intention to be here every Saturday from 9 to 12 for the winter market, and we hope to see you here.
You know, in many ways, living green simply means revisiting simpler times, and smoke-cured country hams have been a tasty tradition in Tennessee since pioneer days. Long known as Mount Juliet's ham man, Ed Rice of Rice's Country Hams is now passing this old-fashioned method of curing meats down to his son-in-law, Scott. Every January, this family business begins hanging hams in preparation for the next holiday season, preserving tradition and full country flavor all along the way.
My father bought the store in 1933 and ran it as a country grocery store. And in the early 50s, he said that the faster the automobiles ran, the slower the country grocery business got. He had the staple items here, but people wanted to go to Piggly Wiggly, H.G. Hills, and, you know, get different variety. And he said he had to do something to make a living. We got used to eating and wearing shoes in the wintertime. You know, back then, kids didn't wear shoes in the summertime, just went barefooted. But so he had to do something to make a living, and he started curing country hams. First year, he cured 50 in a chicken coop out here in the blacksmith shop out here. And somebody had them in here, and what he did, he hung them up on the front of the store, and the tourists would come by and buy them. And somebody broke in the store and stole all but 2 of them, and they were hidden up under the shelf over there. So the next year, he did not have enough money to buy fresh hams. So he set out a year. So the next year, he put down 75, and that's how it started growing and to its present level.
I'm Scott Dabbs. I'm Ed Rice Jr.'s son-in-law. Me and my wife run the business now. Behind me, you'll see that the building where the hams originally were cured, it was a little old milk truck. When Ed Rice Sr. started this business, that's where he started curing the hams. He used a little milk truck there. As the business grew, around 1955, Ed had to build a smokehouse to accommodate the number of hams he was doing at the time, and that's what's right over here.
Well, a country ham is the one that has been put in salt, and what it does is preserve the hams. The salt goes into the meat and pushes out the moisture and sets up a condition that bacteria cannot exist. And that's how it got started. And the way they say that got started was the Pilgrims came over, and they were over on the East Coast, and they were going to be raided by the Indians, and they knew they were coming. So they had killed hogs, and to hide their meat, they buried it on the beaches over there. And when they came back, they found out that their meat wasn't spoiled, and the salt from salt had preserved it.
This here, we're standing in our curing room. Of course, you know, a lot of places have several different rooms that they move hams from one stage to the next stage to the next stage, whereas we use the same room to do the whole process. And that comes by way of using the temperatures outside. When we first start salting the meat, it needs to be cold outside because we have to keep the meat at 40 degrees. So that process is done the end of December, 1st of January, early February still they'll be in the salt.
It takes 8 pounds of salt per 100 pounds of meat to properly cure a ham. If you get more than that, it's too salty. If you get any less than that, it don't cure properly. And when we take them out of salt, basically a month later, we wash them off and give them a good bath and clean them up and make them look good. And then we hang them up in the smokehouse.
And then as the weather starts changing and starts warming up a little, that helps our hams go through what's called a equalization period.
And they will stay there to where we hang them originally until we get them down in the fall of the year and start checking to make sure that they're good. Now, 98% of our hams will take a perfect cure. Our quality control is simple. It's a stainless steel ice pick, and if a ham doesn't take a perfect cure, it's going to be at his hip joint or his knee joint. And we can probe that and pull it out, and we smell of it, and we know the aroma that we get on this pick is what you're going to be getting when you cook it. You put it in the skillet and you put the heat to it, and this aroma will be magnified. If it's good, it'll be wonderful when you cook it, but if it's bad, no. So it's very important. We sell a lot of hams, whole hams. People take them out and take them everywhere. And we want to make sure we do everything that we can to make sure that they get a quality ham before they leave here. If a ham is properly cured, somebody says, they'll say, how long will this ham keep, Mr. Rice? I said, well, actually, it is preserved, and you can lay a rock down beside one of my hams, and as long as the rock is good, my ham will be good. If you have never had a slice of my ham, you have not eaten the real thing, okay? Now, the difference in our ham and a grocery store ham is it takes us a year it takes us a year to produce this ham. It's a lot of money invested and a lot of time involved in it, okay? And we better know what we're doing, because we start putting this probe in here in the fall of the year. If it's not good, then we're in trouble. As far as I'm concerned, being able to turn it over to the next generation it means a whole lot, because most of mine's in my rearview mirror, just like my golf game. I used to have a pretty good golf game, but it's behind me, and I don't care anything about going over there and unloading 40,000 pounds of meat and salting them down. But they do, you know, young people, it don't bother them. And they take a lot of pride in doing what they're doing. And that's important to me, that they have taken over and have been so successful and are so earnest in trying to accomplish the same thing that we did, is to have a satisfied customer. We won a lot of ribbons and a lot of trophies at the state fair, county fair, and of course that looks good, you know, media-wise, but what's more important to us, me back then and them now, is to provide our customer with the best ham that's being possibly made. So that's what it means to me.
Okay, say you've just returned from the farmer's market or the smokehouse with that big smoked savory ham. What's next? Well, country giant morning DJ Gator Harrison asked Chef Andy Hunter from Nashville's Acorn Restaurant to share one recipe with a lot of great Tennessee flavors.
Hey again, welcome into the Green Galley here with Gator. This is my buddy Andy from the Acorn Restaurant in Nashville. Thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
Should we be shaking hands before we cook? We have washed, we're clean, we're ready to go. What are we going to be making, Andy?
We're going to make a country ham risotto. We're going to use some Tennessee country ham, and then we're going to garnish it with a little bit of Tennessee freshwater prawns.
Did you hear all the Tennessee words? See, it's all about Live Green Tennessee. Right. We're going to eat healthy, we're going to eat good, and it's all homegrown stuff here. So how do we get started, Andy?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is dice an onion.
All right.
I figured I'd show you the right way to do it.
Andy has seen the Green Galley here at Live Green, Tennessee before, don't you think? Okay, what do we do?
So the first thing we're going to do is we split it in half.
Okay.
And then cut into the onion about 3/4.
Yeah.
Just the size.
Okay.
The size of the pieces that you're looking for. So we cut there.
You're going to be crying cutting the onions.
Okay. And then we're going to go back the other way. We'll cut like this.
And you're not going all the way to the end. You're almost
about 3/4 to the back. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right, so.
And then you just come back through here like this.
Now, why would you need diced onions versus another onion you just throw in the pot or whatever?
Uniformity in size helps cooking time.
Okay.
And then also, I think it's probably one of the best ways to show skill as a cook.
You just wanted to see me cry on television,
That's right.
Andy, is what it is.
So we're going to go over here to our big pot.
Okay, what do we need to set the temperature to?
We'll call it medium-low.
Medium-low is what we're shooting for again.
Okay, we're just going to put a little butter in there.
All right.
And then we're also going to put just a little bit of oil in. What the oil does is it'll raise the smoke point of the butter so that we can cook this butter a little longer without it burning.
That makes sense to me. Now, you mentioned ham. I'm a ham boy. Risotto.
Risotto, it's a method of preparing rice.
Really?
So we're basically what we're going to make here is kind of a fancy ham and rice casserole.
Okay, good. Ham and rice casserole. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
So we've got our butter and our oil melting a little bit here.
Okay.
We're just going to put the onions in. And while those are cooking, we're going to cut a little bit of our country ham over there.
Okay, and this is not just any country ham. This is Tennessee.
That is Tennessee country ham.
Smoked.
Yep. Made by Alan Benton in Madisonville, Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, you can use as little or as much ham as you want to.
All right.
The ham it depends on if you want this to be an entree or if you want this to be kind of an appetizer. But we'll get you to do that. There you go.
And so tell us about Acorn Restaurant.
Yeah, the Acorn Restaurant. We're actually celebrating our 7th anniversary just in the next month or so.
Happy
as a restaurant. You know, pretty casual but fine dining restaurant there in Nashville, right next to Centennial Park and right across from Vanderbilt. I like it to be kind of fancy, but don't want to scare anybody. I want everybody to recognize what it is that they're eating before they even get started. You know, lots of grits and things like that, but I'll put a little goat cheese in there with the grits or something, that sort of thing. Lots of country ham, lots of bacon.
Fine Southern.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right. And so you've trimmed the fat away from the
ham? Yeah, I trimmed the skin off the ham. We're going to leave a little bit of the fat because that adds a lot of flavor. There's a lot of sweetness in pork fat, so we'll leave that on there. So we'll just cut this real quick. And we're going to add that right into the onions there. Once we
Okay.
start adding liquid to it, all this will come apart and the flavor from the ham will really start to come out into the rice and everything. All right, so one thing I wanted to tell you about here is we have a little ham stock.
Folks like me, I don't know what stock is. I'm thinking NASCAR.
Flavored broth. And all I did was I took some vegetables and a ham hock. Just let that cook together with some water and a little bit of white wine for about 3 hours. When you're making risotto, you want to put hot stock into it. So you want your stock heated up. Now this is our arborio rice. The grains of the rice, they're not very long. They're kind of short and fat. Where you find your jasmine rice, your basmati rice, there's usually going to be arborio rice next to it now. All right, so we're just going to add that in there. And it's going to release its starch into the liquid as we're cooking it. And then that's going to kind of make its own sauce while we're doing it. All right.
Boy, it looks good. It smells wonderful.
And then what we're looking for here, that they're, starting to get a little translucent on the end. So we'll just give that just 1 minute.
Okay. And so tell me about your family. You have a wife?
Yeah, I sure do. My wife is Dr. Hunter. She
Dr. Hunter.
Yeah,
Did you catch that at
That's
home?
right.
Okay.
And she's currently teaching at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and you're right there close to the restaurant, so that's nice. Any kids?
Yep, we have one daughter. Her name's Vivian. She's 3 right now. She'll be 4 next month. Looking forward to that. All right, so we're going to add just a little bit of white wine here.
A little bit of white wine.
All right. You see the pan's nice and hot. You see that starting to cook in already.
Sure.
Especially with the first one, when you add the wine, you want to let that cook for a little while. You want to make sure you get all the alcohol out of there.
Okay.
If you don't, if you continue kind of start adding stock right now, what will happen is not the flavor of the wine, but the actual flavor of the alcohol will get into the rice, and you'll be able to taste that all the way through.
Very good tip.
All right, so the wine is mostly cooked out here. So what we're going to do is start to add our stock, and we kind of want to go a little bit at a time.
All
We can
right.
go a couple ladles here. This is a 2-ounce ladle. That's a 1/4 cup.
Thanks. He knows again, Andy knows who he's dealing with here. Okay.
And I need you to just kind of keep it moving around. You can stir it and go ahead and make sure you're kind of scraping the bottom there.
All right.
I'm going to come over here and we're going to garnish it with some fresh green onions when it's done. Or actually, I'll tell you what, we'll swap places and we'll see how you fare with these.
Okay, all right, I'll try my best. That's all I can promise, Andy. Okay, but if I do this, you got to keep this going.
Yes,
over
exactly,
here, Andy.
exactly.
All right, so we're going to pass. See, this is a great thing about cooking at home. You can do this with a spouse, you can do this with your kids. I've got a question for you about this, because I've got a 3-year-old at home and I can't get her to try new food.
Right.
You guys ever have that problem? What do you do?
We never really gave her any options.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
I'm giving my kid too many choices.
We also did take a lot of time between my wife's sensibilities and my abilities as a chef. We made her own baby food, for the first 2 years of her life and that kind of thing, just real simple purees and things. But I think we really, in doing that, expanded her taste buds, even from the start.
Absolutely, and eating healthier so you feel better about what you're feeding your kid, and a lot of times it can be cost effective as well.
Yeah, I mean, just go to the farmer's market, buy a bunch of carrots and that kind of thing. We just take them home, boil them, puree them, and she was happy as a clam.
All right, so we mentioned healthy for our kids. How healthy is this dish that we're looking at?
Well,
are there ways to make it healthier?
You could certainly leave out some of the butter. You could trim a little bit more of the fat off the ham if you wanted to. You could certainly use different meats. You could add whatever you wanted to this. Some fresh green peas or even frozen green peas at the end would go nicely. The rice is a really neutral background. You can add really whatever you want to it.
Sure. Now, you mentioned that you went to the Culinary Institute at Opryland. What got you even interested in cooking to begin with?
I come from a pretty big family. I'm one of 5 kids, and I figured out that the easiest way for me to make sure that we had what I wanted for dinner was to cook it.
But I mean, and it led to a great career.
Yeah, and I'm super, super happy that Mom and Dad were so supportive of it.
And if you got kids watching, listen, 2 men in the kitchen. It doesn't always have to be mom or grandma.
That's right.
We can do just as good a job, and in some cases better.
Yeah. Well, my mom is still the best cook that I know.
Critics come into Acorn Restaurant, that's no problem.
Yeah.
When mom, grandma, and those people come in, then you're in trouble, right?
While this is still finishing up cooking here, we will start our prawns.
I'm sorry, we're going to start our what?
Our prawns, our Tennessee freshwater shrimp.
Oh, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, and if you would, the prawns are right there in the refrigerator.
All right.
So we got our pan going here. We're going to let that get a little hot. Again, we're going to go with just a little butter. And while that's melting, maybe I get you to do me one more favor.
I'd be more than happy to, Andy. That's why I'm here. You just tell me what to do.
All right, we're going to...
Pretend like I'm your wife.
We're going to...
Never mind. That's probably not good.
That'd be different. But if you'll grab the box grater there,
Okay.
and then what we have here is this is a goat cheese Gouda from Noble Springs Dairy, just near Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville.
Right here in Tennessee?
That's right.
Okay.
So if you'll just grate a little bit of this for me.
All right, can I be honest with you, Andy?
Yeah.
I have a confession to make. I've never grated cheese before in my life.
And okay, then I'll
Some assistant I am,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming you just run it down through
why don't
here,
I just
right?
show you just to make sure,
Well,
and then
I
we'll
want to
go from
learn
there.
these things.
Okay, so we're just going to push it like that. That's it.
That's it? Okay, I can do that.
Same
Let me
thing
in
with-
there. I'm in here.
Same thing with the knife.
Put me in, Coach. I'm in.
Keep your fingers back.
All right. We're grading cheese.
Yeah.
See, again, the whole point of the Green Galley in Live Green, Tennessee, if I can do it, anybody can.
Just give that cheese a little taste. It's really,
absolutely.
really good.
I've not met any cheese that I don't like.
Yeah. And our rice is really, really close
That's
here.
very good.
This is where it gets exciting.
Let's jump in.
All right, so we've got our prawns here. And we peeled them, just left the tails on. We're going to put those right in the butter. And these things cook pretty quickly. They jump a
Lot of
little bit.
popping, yeah.
One thing about country ham, you know, it's really, really well seasoned. It's got a lot of salt in it. So we want to be real careful with that between the stock and the rice there. But these prawns, we can definitely season them. So we're going to hit them with a little salt.
Just regular table salt?
Yep, well, I use kosher salt. It's just a little easier to judge.
Right.
And then I have some fresh ground white pepper here. And white pepper is a little stronger than black pepper. So these cook really quickly. So we're just going to turn them. It has a definite sweetness. The texture is a little more in line with lobster than it is with the traditional shrimp. They're also really, really good for people who are allergic to shrimp. Most of the time when people find they're allergic to shrimp, they're allergic to the iodine that's found in them. And these, you know, like I say, yeah, they don't have that.
Okay.
All right, so we turned our shrimp off. So if you want, you can just go ahead and throw all that cheese right in here.
Oh, yes. This is excellent cheese. I can't believe the products, all of these products you found, you know, right here in Tennessee.
If you just get out there and look a little bit, it's easy to find these things.
It's not only better products, better tasting products, but it's helping the local economy and local farmers.
Absolutely.
Now this, I think my 3-year-old would try this because it look, you know, you got a little mac and cheese look here.
Yep, exactly. We'll send some home for you.
Good.
Grab the green onions. We'll go ahead and fold these in there. And just go ahead and dump it right in.
All right, here we go. Now, Acorn Restaurant, is that a place we need to call for reservations?
It's we definitely accept walk-ins. We love reservations.
Is there a website that they can go to learn more about the Acorn Restaurant?
Yeah, they sure can. If you go to theacornrestaurant.com.
And while you're online, make sure that you go to wcte.org/livegreen because we'll have the recipe there for you, straight from Chef Andy. And I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, a lot of chefs won't reveal all their secrets.
It's my pleasure. I don't have any secrets. Okay, I think we're all set here. If you would hand me one of those 2 bowls there, we'll go ahead and get you set up.
Oh, I like it when you say it's bowl time.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Wow, that
so
looks
again, we
really
can go
good.
appetizer or entree, however much you want to put on there. I made a little bit of a mess here, but that's all right.
That's okay. You're in the right place,
Yeah.
man. My
We'll
life
take
is all about the mess.
a couple of these. There you go.
And see, the thing about these dishes is not only are you promoting local Tennessee farmers, you're helping them, helping the local economy, but are you kidding me? That is going to impress your neighbors when they come over for some dinner. You know, what are you having? Oh, we're having ham risotto.
Yeah.
It looks great.
sounds a lot more difficult than it is.
All right. I'll let you catch up here, but
No,
I'm
no,
ready to
go right
dive
ahead.
in.
Go right
Can I
ahead.
go ahead?
Yeah, please do.
All right. Wow. Now, do you suggest getting a little of both?
It's a complete dish, so you want to get some of everything, but definitely if you haven't had the prawns before, I'd get a little bite of that by itself just so you understand what's going on.
That is excellent. There it is. Excellent. Excellent. Chef Andy, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
You guys stop in and see Acorn Restaurant. Let Chef Andy make this or any of the other fine dishes for you there. Again, thanks for always being a part of the Green Galley and for Living Green, Tennessee.
Last time we were in the Gadget Lab, we saw trickle power savers and a water-powered alarm clock. This time, Eli the Gadget Guy illuminates the way to saving your Christmas energy for years to come.
Hi, I'm Eli the Gadget Guy and welcome to the Green Gadget Lab. Today I'm going to tell you about a great way to decorate for the holiday season while cutting back on energy costs. Most people who decorate their houses with Christmas lights use regular incandescent lights, but there is an alternative to that saves money and energy. It's called LED Christmas lights. The LED stands for light emitting diodes. The diodes are electronic components that only let electricity pass in only one direction. This means less energy is used to power the lights. If you want to know exactly how much you can save, don't fret. A gadget guy always has statistics. 100 incandescent Christmas lights operate using around 5 watts for each bulb. If they're turned on for 12 hours a day for 30 days, this would add to your electricity bill roughly $16.40. LED lights only use half a watt for each bulb, so that will only increase your electricity bill by only $1.64. That's right, $1.64. That's a savings of almost $15. I could buy a bucket of crab claws with $15. As you can see, LED Christmas lights, wow! Oh. Just kidding. LED Christmas lights don't have a filament, so they're also safe to touch and less worries about a fire. So this holiday season, when you're out getting Christmas decorations, don't forget to pick up some LED Christmas lights. Well, I'm Eli the Gadget Guy. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next time at the Green Gadget Lab.
Resourcefulness and recycling are both central to the idea of living green. And recently, Sandy White showed us the art of mixing nature with found objects from around the house to make primitive Christmas decorations. Using everything from old windowsills to tobacco stalks, Sandy's creative decorations have proven to be so successful, she is opening her own gift boutique in Spencer, near Van Buren County's Fall Creek Falls. We followed Sandy from woods to workshop to witness her creative process.
I'm Sandy White. I am the owner of Gifts from Days Gone By. We have a lot of primitives. Primitives are a lot of the older, maybe like shelves that are black that have been worn down. The jelly cupboards, just the stuff that you would find in the older houses. Stuff that you're not going to go out and find now. When I'm out in the woods looking for stuff to use, I'll use the older cedar trees that have fell and really are going to nothing. The pine, anything that I feel like needs to be, has some color to it, needs to be used. Well, I use a lot of the pine sprigs just to fill in, and what I do is I try to find a good one that don't have any dead in it, and I'll clip it off, shake the pine out, the needles, and just keep cutting. You can use pine in anything during the Christmas season. And there's nothing like just getting out into the nature. I like to use a lot of winter holly. As you can see, this has a lot of berries on it. That's what I look for. The more berries, the prettier it is. So I just try to cut it, take it, and use it for a lot of different decorations. As you can see, holly's very pretty. It's simple, don't cost you anything because most people have it growing in the woods. I like to get out and just walk and see what I can see. You never know what kind of stick you're going to find or whatever. You just look. After I get through my walk and gather everything up, then I just take it back to my workshop and start trying to put it all together. After going to the woods and gathering up what I could, well, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, so as I was walking back, I saw this old wagon. So I thought I would do a Christmas arrangement in that wagon just to set out in the yard. First, just lay some pine in your wagon. Just randomly lay it. It don't have to be any certain way. Then I'm going to take some of my bigger sticks that I found. Just kind of wiggle them in any way you can to fit them in. And I'm going to take some of our holly. Just fill it in. You don't have to be a genius to figure out where it goes. If you see a hole, stick something there. Then just take you a piece of ripped material, tie a knot, and there you go. Set it on your front porch, beside your porch, anywhere you want to. Not a lot of money, just a lot of time. Well, this started as a hobby. I love doing it. And for years, people have said, why don't you open a shop? So this year, my daughter's a senior, so I decided I'm going to do it. I love doing what I'm doing. I don't do it for the income. I do it for the enjoyment. And now I have a place where everybody else can come and see what all I have done, what all I have to do, and what new ideas I come up with, because I have a lot of them, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. That's where they come from.
A doctor of pharmacology and avid home gardener, Dr. Opp Walker has made it his business to know the medicinal qualities of plants, especially little powerhouse foods like nuts.
Welcome to the Medicine Garden. I'm Dr. Opp Walker, and today we're considering the benefits of nuts. Considered food of the gods by early Greeks and Romans, walnuts eventually became such a high demand item for British merchant ships in the Mediterranean, they earned the name English walnut. Walnuts improve mental performance and should benefit students and all intellectual workers. Walnuts provide energy to the heart. Matter of fact, an Adventist health study showed that walnuts eaten 5+ times weekly lowers heart attack risk. Almonds also are an excellent brain food while strengthening nerves and invigorating muscles, an excellent energy source for athletes and physical laborers. Almonds help retain calcium in the bones to treat or prevent osteoporosis. Another brain food, pine nuts, are also effective against stress and depression, as well as anemia and cardiac disease. The heart-friendly macadamia nut originated in Australia's rainforest. They were brought in the late 1800s to Hawaii, where much of the world's supply is now grown. Macadamians lower cholesterol and improve circulation. Peanuts also lower cholesterol. Purdue University studies found that the common goober reduces serum triglyceride levels up to 24%. High in potassium and low in sodium, natural peanuts act against fluid retention and high blood pressure. The most iron-rich of all nuts, however, the pistachios, also facilitate absorption of iron from other sources, important for patients with iron deficiency anemia. A Chinese manuscript from the year 2800 BC places the hazelnut, or filbert, among the 5 sacred nourishments bestowed on humans by God. Introduced to America in 1629, hazelnuts help prevent kidney stones but can raise blood pressure. Late 17th century Dutch traders introduced the Brazil nut to Europe from its native South America. Brazil nuts are vitamin B1 rich and treat nervous disorders, depression, and irritability. Individuals trying to stop smoking should try Brazil nuts. Noted for their high content of magnesium, cashew nuts also reduce irritability, cramps, spasm, and reduce nervousness and tiredness. Native only to North America, pecans were found with human artifacts in Texas archaeological digs dating back to 6100 BC. More than any other nut, pecans contain antioxidants which protect against cell damage and help fight heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's syndromes. Nuts are heart healthy but high in calories. They should be eaten in moderation. The Mayo Clinic suggests eating 1.5 ounces of nuts daily to substitute for saturated fats found in meats, eggs, and dairy products. Remember, always chew nuts well for best digestion. This season, while caroling about roasted chestnuts, help yourself to a few. They have a tonic effect on muscles, providing energy and a sense of well-being, perfect for the holidays. I'm Dr. Opp Walker, and see you next time in the Medicine Garden.
With the holidays upon us, everyone's focus turns to giving. These are difficult economic times, and help often comes from unexpected sources. Providing a way for sportsmen to donate their catch to those most at risk, Hunters for the Hungry promotes responsible use of one of Tennessee's oldest renewable resources.
My earliest memory of hunting would be going out with my dad at a very young age and just going out in the woods with him as he was deer hunting and kind of going along with him, scouting and looking at the ground and trails and trees where the bucks have marked the trees. Around the holiday times, growing up, my family had a really neat tradition where every Thanksgiving we would go out and hunt the day before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving morning, and then the day after. When the women, my mom in particular, would go out and shop and the whole Black Friday thing, me and my dad and my brother would go to the woods, and we would spend our Black Friday in the woods deer hunting. Growing up, I was raised to believe that anything that we harvest would be consumed, and I still have that mindset that any wild game that you take, you need to consume it or make sure it goes to a good cause and someone is consuming it. Deer are organic. They don't have hormones being pumped into them. They're not pen raised. They're not raised to go to slaughter. And you're using a renewable organic resource.
We were doing a bread ministry and an immediate needs ministry to help people with extra food and clothing and so forth. And we felt strongly led to come to Jackson County, and we prayed about it, found a building up here, and that's where we found the true genuine need. And within a year, the need just totally outstripped our facility. Everything that we were given or that was donated to us, there was always a need for it that came up. And so we moved into this facility in July, and here we have a little more room, and we were able to move our immediate emergency food pantry in here. And we call it the immediate needs ministry because when somebody's hungry, they're hungry today. We don't ask any questions. You know, if someone's hungry, we feed them. We give them something to eat. Now, there are many food pantries and there are many facilities to help people, but what we find is, and where our little niche is to get them through today until they can get that help. Day, maybe a couple of days help, until they can get with some agencies or other people that they can get some more long-term help with, and that's where our little niche is, and it seems to work very well.
I'm here at Searcy's Deer Processing, located in Putnam County, one of our participating Hunters for the Hungry processors. And Hunters for the Hungry is basically local hunters harvesting local deer and feeding local families.
I was out hunting today on my farm, and I decided I needed to take some does out, and Roger and them had asked me about having some, killing some extra deer that they would like to have them for this program that, that we're donating them to and stuff. And I said, that if I got some extra ones, I would be glad to, and to be a part of this. I think it's really a good thing to give it to somebody that really could use the meat. I just wish a lot more people would take part in doing stuff like this, to help somebody that really, could use the meat. And there's so many people out there right now that's in hard times that could really use a deer, and I think a lot of these hunters should donate to this, organization that, they could help somebody. You're blessing somebody by doing that, We're fortunate enough, I'm fortunate enough to be able to get out and hunt them and enjoy the outdoors. So, it really tickles me to be able to give a deer to somebody like that, and let them, enjoy it as much as I did hunting it.
There was a lady just the other day, I'm thinking of one particular instance just this week, where a lady had called me and she said, our link card won't come through until the 10th, and we have nothing in the house. Is there anything you can help us with? And I said, absolutely. And because of the kindness of Hunters for the Hungry, I have probably 300 pounds or so of venison in the freezer in the back right now. And so not only was I able to put some vegetables in her hands, some potatoes and onions, but I was also able to send her away with about 6 pounds of venison. And a couple cans of red beans, some venison, a few little spices, and you got a big old pot of chili. It's going to feed you for a couple of days, and it's good. It's low-fat, nutritious food that is just absolutely awesome. I mean, you can't find a more nutritious protein content. And this is what it takes. It takes people helping people. We've been blessed, we bless others.
Hunters for the Hungry is a program of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation in cooperation with Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Hunters for the Hungry has been in Tennessee going on now 11 seasons, and last year local hunters donated over 71,000 pounds of venison statewide, feeding over 300,000 meals. Once a hunger relief agency receives the donated venison, they will actually fix meals, and local people will come in and eat a meal there. The other is they will take it home in a box. They'll have vegetables, maybe some produce, stuff like that, and they'll throw the meat in there, and then the family can take it home and use it on their own when they're cooking their meal. And then another way would just be someone that knows of someone in need will personally contact the food agency, and they will come and pick up a couple pounds of venison to get by on.
One of the things that we do is on Sunday night we offer a community meal upstairs. We have a fellowship hall up there. We offer a community meal. This time last year, of course, we were meeting in another building, but before we got this building, this time last year we were feeding some nights 25 or 30 people a hot meal. The Sunday before Thanksgiving we fed 92 people. We sent food home for people. And the nice thing about venison is being able to use it and have it on hand is that we can make, large quantities of, well, everything from spaghetti to chili to stew. It's an extremely versatile product, and it tastes good. And the thing about it is we don't want to give people junk. They've already been beat down enough. We want to give them the best we can. Personally, myself, I think this program is phenomenal because it's a win-win for everybody. The people that go out and want to hunt, and they get their trophy, they're able to donate the meat to a processor who does it at a reduced fee, and then it comes back to us, and we put it immediately right into the hands of those that need it. And so last year, we were able to, through the generosity of these hunters and these processors, we were able to give out just about 1,200 pounds of venison. That's a lot of meat.
Hunters for the Hungry, for me, is a great way to give back on a local level to your community. There's something about donating a deer that you've spent all morning scouting and going out, and after you do harvest that deer, dragging it out of the woods, and there's something about the fact that when you donate that and say, hey, I want to help out those less fortunate or those in need by providing X amount of meals, there's just a great feeling about that, and I love that I'm a part of it. Last year I donated my first deer that I took to Hunters for the Hungry, and in my opinion, I just wanted to help those out that needed it before I helped myself out.
During the holiday season, the need is more greatly felt because, think about it, if you've got a couple little kids running around your house, you got a light bill sitting on the table, and they're all excited about Christmas time coming. I realize Christmas isn't about gifts. It isn't about Santa Claus. It's about our Lord and the greatest gift of all. But it's awful hard to look into the face of a child and say, you're not going to get anything this year. And so the very least we can do is to do our best to make sure they got something to eat. And we're more than willing to help in any way we can.
This month's Greenest Thumb Award goes to Damon T. of Gallatin. Homeowners install energy-efficient windows every day, but toss out the old windows. That's not very green, writes Damon, who recycles and rebuilds the aluminum sashes for sheds, workshops, and kids' playhouses. They also make a nice interior feature and add character to your building project. Americans dispose of enough reusable wood each year to build 250,000 single-family homes, and new deconstruction companies are forming to salvage this nearly 1 billion board feet of low-cost lumber. Thanks for posting, Damon. Do you have a green tip that saves money in the home, office, or garden? We want to know. Each month, we feature the greenest thumb on Live Green Tennessee. Post your tip on WCTE.org/green thumb and read your neighbor's tips, comment, and vote on your favorite. You can also email your tip to livegreen@WCTE.org or call the number on your screen. You might win a $25 gift card and a WCTE mug and cooler set. Our thanks for Living Green Tennessee. We hope you've enjoyed Live Green Tennessee, and we hope you'll join us next time when we take a walk through Hippie Jack's Winter Garden with Tom Todd, explore the benefits of cold weather, community-supported agriculture, and make some delicious Noble Springs goat cheese. Plus, we drop in on the Nashville Farmers Market, hit Gator Harrison's Green Galley with Chef Edward Philpo, visit the Gadget Lab, talk oats with Dr. Op Walker, and just a whole lot more right here next time on Live Green Tennessee.
This program is brought to you in part by
Wherever you are in your life, wherever you are in Tennessee, there's a real Christmas memory waiting for you. Find a Tennessee Christmas tree farm near you at picktnproducts.org.
and by the generous support of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.